Well, hi guys. I bought some ginger the other day, and I just happened to notice on the ginger, look at all those sprouts that are coming out on it. That right there is a sprout. That's a sprout. All of these little nubs that are coming out on it, they're all sprouts. That means that ginger wants to grow. And I wasn't really planning on trying ginger this year, but since I've got that ginger and it's already wanting to grow, I know it's good. Because some of the ginger or some of the rooted vegetables you buy have been irradiated and they won't grow. But look at that. This one has not been irradiated, or it wouldn't have all these little nubs coming out on it. So we're going to go ahead and plant it and see what happens. This will be my first time ever growing ginger. So, and I fixed my pot with twigs, leaves, green matter, you know, leaves that I broke off of the plants around the garden. Just the old yellow leaves or some that don't look good. And I put them in there, and then I put some native soil on top. I mixed in just a tiny bit of potting soil, not much. And I'm going to go ahead and plant it. And all we do is basically put it under the dirt. And I'm going to break it in two sections because I don't want it all just to grow in one little clump. I want it in at least two different clumps here. So I broke it in half. And it does have leaves in it and stuff, so that's all right. I'm just putting one on one side, and I'm going to put this one on the other side. And we'll see what happens with our ginger. Like I said, I've never tried to grow ginger before. So, and I'm going to get something to water it with just a little bit. And I got a little bit of compost tea. I'm just going to water it down. And now I'm going to find a spot in the garden, and I think I'm going to put it up there where it would be in like a shady spot. Let's see. Turn this around so I can take the camera with me and show you what I'm going to do. But I think I'm going to put it right there. Let me put this. I've got a roll of wire in my hand. I got to put it down on the porch. But I think that's where it's going to go. But I need to move some of these leaves and stuff out of the way, because I want to get my bucket sitting down in the leaves a little bit. I don't want it just sitting on top. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think that will work. Put the leaves back around it. That's going to help keep it moist at the bottom. And I do need to go get some twine. Let me set this camera up and I'll be right back. Because what I've been doing is going around tying up my cucumbers and getting them off the ground. And let me turn this around. You're seeing? But as you can see, I've already done some of them. And this little vine is growing up that cord, that yarn. And I need to tie this one up because these are cucumbers. And if I don't tie them up, they're going to go all over themselves. Plus they'll latch on to everything else and make a mess. And like I said, I tied on to itself. I tied on to the top of the plant, or I try to. And it's already latched on to the little stake here, but it's not good enough for me, so just tied it on there a little bit, and then I'm going to come right up here and tie it up here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be tight. This is just a guide for your cucumber to climb up. And I tied it up to the top up here, right up here, and it's going to climb up this yarn piece right here. And then of course it'll go all over the stake. And I've got tomatoes on the other side that are going to be doing the same thing. But that's what I'm out here today doing. If I find any of the vines that need to be tied up at all, and I need to get something to connect these together. What I'm probably going to do is cut me some tubing to go up on here. I've got some more pieces of garden hose in the shed. But I'm real anxious to see how the turmeric turns out, because I've never planted turmeric before. This was growing up on the turmeric because I didn't get it tied up. What I did yesterday, I had those bamboo poles in the shed, and I figured out a way that I can use it as a trellis for the cucumbers, because I've got cucumbers growing in the top 3 buckets. I can trellis the cucumbers to go up to keep them off the ground, while I'll let the squash, the melons and the pumpkins just grow on the ground because they're too big for me to try to trellis them. So but I already had that, and I just put wire to keep it separated at the top to give them more room to grow up on. And of course, when they grow up, they're going to start coming back down. So that's not going to be a problem. But you can see how they latch onto the bamboo. And I'll put a little bit of string on it too to help them even more. And this is just regular old yarn. I ran out of the green, so I'm using whatever color I've got. And it'd be nice if I didn't get in front of the camera, I know, so I can see what I'm showing you. Because this little guy here is latched on, but he was a little bit far away. So I'm just going to tie on to him a little. And like I said, make it loose, because they need room to grow inside that yarn. Their vines might get, you know, quite a bit bigger. So I'll leave it at least the size of a quarter. That'll help it a little. And that early dew melon is trying to come on up too. I'm almost afraid that's too heavy to put up here. But if it wants to go, I guess I'll let it go. They try hard to latch on to something. I figured that the cucumbers on the trellis wouldn't be that top heavy. Not like a pumpkin or a honeydew melon. Because I don't want to have to put a sling underneath them. So I'd rather they grow on the ground. Yeah, that bamboo is not going to be strong enough to hold melons, but it'll be strong enough to hold the cucumbers. And like I said, I already had this. Leave that up there so it'll have something to grab onto when it gets up there. And I even got a tomato in each side, so I'm going to have to trellis that up too somehow. But I got it secured on the back side of this bucket. I don't think it'll turn it over. Yeah, the bamboo stakes are pretty inexpensive. And they last quite a while too. Like I got those tomato plants here. And I'm going to start leading them on up too. these may grow pretty tall. Start down here, the lower part of the base. Like I said, give them plenty of room. Don't put it tight on them. And then you can just start like kind of going around the stem with the cord. And then I'm simply going to tie it off up here. And that'll help train it to go on up. And that one I probably need to get some kind of stake to. And I've got this little tomato bush right beside the blue pot that's going on up. So I'm going to go ahead and put a yarn string on that. And y'all, it's 80 degrees out here already today. I've already got blooms on this one, so I don't know how much bigger it'll get. And I'll do these over here when they get just a little bit taller. And this one in the middle here. I think what I'm going to do on that is connect. Well, I'll show you. I've got one growing in the middle. I've got one growing right in the middle. And what I think I'm going to do, I've got an old cord here. See if I can tie it. Yeah. I'm going to join these two together. And then, I think you can see it up there. I put a string from this arbor to this arbor, and I'm going to put a cord right down in the middle, and I'm going to run it to that middle tomato plant. And I'm hoping that'll work. Well, I'm not allowing myself enough room down here to see what I'm doing. I didn't leave it long enough. No problems, I just add another little piece of yarn to it. So even though you got a trellis to put them on, you need something to help secure them to that trellis. And I will show you, I'll give you a close-up of what I was doing. But I put the cord to that one in the middle bucket. See how it's wrapped around? And it's not tight. And like I said, you need to leave a loop big enough where you tie it to the tomato plant at the bottom to give that tomato plant room to grow. And then I've got it going all the way up. And then it ties off to the cord that I put between both arbors. So that'll help secure that tomato plant. And here's this one. And I've got it tied off up there. Just that easy. Here, and do this one. Or these two, I've got two of them over here. I'm not sure where to put the camera. So that's that one. Like I said, I don't know how, according to the website, the delicious tomatoes get about 5 foot tall. So this should be plenty good enough support for them. I'm thinking anyway. I'm just going to tie it to this. String on this side for some reason. Guess I could cut that off. And I think that one back there, I'm going to have to get that other wire cage out of the shed, that little one back there. Let me turn this and see. See if I can get the camera set up so you can see what I'm even going to try to do. Let me get it at an angle where you can see it. But see that little pot back there? It's got a brandywine in it. And that is too, unless I take it and move it. I could take that brandywine and move it. Put something smaller there. Because I don't have anything that's going to be tall enough for that to go up on, I'm afraid. Yeah, that brandywine will get about 12 foot tall. That little oak cage is only about not even 3 foot tall after it got in the dirt. So that one's not going to work for there. That one definitely needs to go to a taller, somewhere has access to a taller stake. I think this little can has got aroma tomato in it. I might put that back there. And I wouldn't even guarantee it's aroma tomato. But I do definitely need to put something there to give that something to grow on, other than that little bitty cage. Let me see. Might move this all together, but it needs something other than that to grow on. That is not big enough. Something like this. And it's really too big. I need to either move it somewhere else or put some other kind of trellis back there to it. Well, I've got these tees that I've got, or fence post things that I had in the shed. I might be able to put one of these things here, because I can't put them in the ground. not go in the ground, I don't think. But then it's going to grow over the top of it and go crazy. Well, I just decided to move it over there. Put it right here. And I'll just trellis it right on up here. Up this thing. I think that'll be the best, because that's going to be a pretty tall tomato plant. I need to put something that's not that tall back there. Really, I don't even need to put anything back there because it's so hard to get back in there to it after all this stuff starts growing. Some of it needs room. So, that's the good thing about yarn. If you cut it too small, too short, you can always add a piece to it. Maybe that'll help it grow up there. not quite sure if I should stake these up or not. I'm not sure how tall they're going to get. But like I said, I'm gonna let them grow a little bit more, and then I will. See if I've got any more I need to. And I'm not sure if that one's going to get any taller than what it is or not. I think it's a Roma tomato. I'm not real sure. See if I need to tie up any of these over here. Yeah, see how that one's growing since I put the cord on it? It's going pretty straight. I just don't know how tall it's going to get. And these aren't big enough to do that to yet. Those back there are in cages. But they're going to outgrow the cages. They're going to get way too tall for those cages. I know. Already know. But I've got them secure enough. Hopefully they'll stay where they're at. See if I need to do that to any of these over here. See how tall those brandywines are already? They're over 3/4 of the way up that cage. And that one's pretty good size too. Those are growing, but they're growing pretty and straight. And those there. You see that little watermelon is doing some growing since I took the marigold from around there. It was putting too much shade on it. And I wanted to come over here and show you what I'd been doing over on this side. And you know what? I need to go ahead and if I can get this tripod set up. I need to go ahead and get that tomato tied. It's a little one. And I could wait, but But I fix that teepee stake to that tomato because I know it's going to get real tall. It's got a pepper plant in there too. And it's got a bunch more seed coming up in there. I think I threw part of a pepper in there that I had. And the seed's coming up. That one's going to need a stake. I know because that's going to get tall, that tomato plant there. But I don't have one right now to go to it. But been working on this. I don't know if I showed you yesterday in the video or not. That's some pieces of strips that I had in the shed that I made a kind of a teepee type trellis for my cucumbers to go on rather than them go on the ground. And it's latched onto my sunflower. And I got a tomato here, and I'm not sure how tall it's going to get. I may just have to cut some of them off, prune them, cut them back so they don't get too tall. I don't see anything to tie up back here right now, except for that tomato. Like I said, I don't know how tall it's going to get because I don't even remember what kind of tomato it was. But it'll get some support from this thing, I guess. If it gets too big, it'll just have to fall over. I can't reach that. Oh, there it goes. There. Well, I got cucumbers, tomatoes, and squash, and melons, and everything just all growing together. And see, that's going to have to run out on the ground because a lot of these things are going to be too heavy for me to trellis them up without building a pretty heavy trellis. So I'm just going to let them spill over on the ground like they did last year. And next year, if I plant all of my heavy vines like that in one spot, maybe I'll build a trellis. But I just try to put stuff where it lives and where it'll survive. But anyway, I wanted to get on here and show you how I was trellising up my plants today, and the fact that I planted the ginger. First time I've ever planted ginger, so I'm anxious to see how that's going to turn out. And like I said, I have never planted ginger before, so I'm kind of anxious to see what happens with that. And I wanted to try out this weed eater edge trimmer, since I put the oblong blade on it. That blade, because I think that was the blade that it should have been put on there to cut a lot of this stuff down with out here, rather than the round one. I think the round one was for edge trimming along your walkway. So, oh my God. Got my hands full and I'm trying to handle this tripod. I don't know where to start trying to cut. Maybe over here, I don't know. We'll try it on some of this stuff. I don't know if it's going to be powerful or not. Yeah, it cuts it. It definitely will cut it down. Yep, that's what I bought it for, was to cut this stuff. And I guess my battery's dead because I didn't charge my battery back up. But I just wanted to get on here and show you that that was the blade I needed to use to cut that stuff with. Not that round one. Because this is a sharper blade. I mean, you can look at it and tell. Because they didn't send you any instructions with it. They just sent you the blades and the battery. You had to put it together, try to figure out how to get it together, and start using it all on your own. So, well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and put this battery in there and charge it up. And later on, I'll come back out here and start cutting some of this stuff down. Because, see, I wanted it, too, to cut stuff on this side of my tubs and my buckets, my garden. Because all that underbrush grows up. And I can't get back in here. So, I'll charge the battery up, come back out here and start cutting some of it down. Because it's getting pretty hot out here now. But like I said, the main reason I wanted to get on here was to show you the ginger that I planted. And I did put it in a pot over there on the other side of my black pots, those big ones, down between two of them. So it's in partial shade, or mostly shade, because I don't think ginger likes being in the hot sun. So we'll see what happens with it. Because like I said, I've never planted ginger before. This will be my first time, so we'll see what happens and take it from there. Y'all have a blessed day. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And I will see you on my next video. Bye now.